principle, why should the United States not be able to deport him, as indeed it appears they have the legal authority to do so?
Yeah, first of all, I don't stipulate to any of your facts. I don't believe they're facts at all. They've never been proven in court. They've never even been shown in court. They're just BS that the Trump administration is throwing out.
All right, we're going to take a look at some of the clips from Piers Morgan, Uncensored here, about these deportations and mainly the interactions between Cenk Uygur from TYT and this ravenous fool from Valuetainment, Vincent Oshana, who's already so ready he's about to explode over here. Let's get right into it.
Two big deportation stories. One involving this El Salvadorian, Kilmar Garcia, who's been sent to a prison in El Salvador, the country where he's come from. Now, he was residing in the United States. He was an illegal immigrant, but he was married in the United States with 3 children, all with special needs. He has always emphatically denied being a member of this gang, MS-13, despite the authorities believing that, from one source I understand, that they think he may have been. There's certainly been no sign of him involved in any MS-13 gang activity that anyone has brought forward as hard evidence. And in 2019, although he was on a list to be deported, I believe, his lawyers argued successfully that his life would be in danger if he was sent back to El Salvador from other gangs who had threatened him previously. What is your view of this? I mean, are you comfortable with America sending people from the United States to an El Salvadorian prison? And given they've accepted this appears to have been an administrative error in sending him because of this order in place not to send him back, why do they not just pick the phone up, the administration, to El Salvador's president and get him back?
Well, they should, because this was apparently a mistake, and the administration has not shown reason for it other than they made a mistake. But let's not, on the broader issue, it's going to be the United States needs to deport substantial numbers of people who came into our country with false asylum claims. Some of them are really dangerous, as we saw with the gangs that were attacking the homes in Aurora, Colorado. But from my perspective in China, we know that a certain number of Chinese migrants are either Ministry of State Security agents or they are People's Liberation Army officers or soldiers. And they are coming here for no good, because we are seeing this increased tempo of incursions and attempted incursions in our military bases, these drone flights, all the rest of it. This is extremely disturbing because they've come here to attack us. They're looking at our patterns, they're looking for our vulnerabilities, and they are ready to strike. So yes, we do need to deport a substantial number of people because this is a matter of national survival. And yes, the Trump administration should admit it made a mistake in this particular case and bring him back. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I mean, Cenk, the other case is the Mahmoud Khalil case, who was the head of this very aggressive pro-Palestinian group at Columbia University, who was sort of leading the mob, as we saw at the time, who was seen reportedly distributing pro-Hamas literature. Now, he's there on a green card in the United States, which has different rules of due process, it turns out, because if you are there on a green card, and Josh and I discussed this on Bill Maher, but there is a difference in how you're treated in terms of due process to an American citizen. And it seemed to me, and the argument I made on Bill Maher was, if this guy had repeated exactly what he believes about wanting the destruction of Western civilization, about distributing pro-Hamas literature, etc. If he'd done all that at his interview for his green card, he would have been rejected a green card to come into the United States. So by that principle, why should the United States not be able to deport him, as indeed it appears they have the legal authority to do so?
Yeah, first of all, I don't stipulate to any of your facts. I don't believe they're facts at all. They've never been proven in court. They've never even been shown in court. They're just BS that the Trump administration is throwing out. There's 2 different issues here. One is, how do you do the deportations? And if you're in favor of the deportations, then you should be upset at Donald Trump, because he's doing the cause of deporting criminals that are undocumented from here harm by overstepping for no reason. So this guy, Garcia guy, was, they even admit in court, sent there by error. So why don't you bring him back? Why are you insisting on sending the wrong guys to the dungeon in El Salvador? Why are you even insisting on sending people to a dungeon in El Salvador? So that doesn't make any sense. We have perfectly good prisons here. We could deport people. So I'm not telling you not to deport MS-13 or the Venezuelan gang. I'm telling you to go ahead and deport them. Just don't deport people that aren't in that gang. So we're asking for just bare minimum due diligence and due process, which is really, really important, because that isn't about the immigrants. That's about our Constitution. And our Constitution does apply to naturalized citizens today. In fact, it applies to every person that's here. Yes, there's some rights like voting that doesn't apply to green card holders, but the Supreme Court has said for 200 years the First Amendment applies to them, which brings us to the second issue. Why are we snatching up critics of Israel? Not even America, not any other country, not any other religion, not anything but beloved, sacred Israel, and having mass men grab them off the streets for writing an op-ed against Israel, talking about economic sanctions and boycotts, not anything militaristic, not anything related to terrorism. So notice no critic of China or Russia or America is getting rounded up. Only critics of Israel are getting rounded up, and that's just a stone cold fact. So I don't like Israel running this country, which is obviously what's happening. I'm sick of it when Biden sent blank check after blank check to do the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. And now Trump says, hold my beer. I could do even better. I'm just going to, any critic of Israel, I'm going to trash the First Amendment. He was theoretically for freedom of speech. This is cancel culture on steroids, where a foreign government cancels people inside this country because they dared to criticize Israel. It's totally, utterly unacceptable, and it's destroying our Constitution on behalf of a foreign government. Totally unacceptable.
Cenk?
I'm gonna cut in here real quick. Cenk is totally right about this. It totally amazes me that people on the right, just follow these talking points and never bother for 1 second to put themselves, walk in the footsteps of these people. Never put themselves in the same position as these people. What if somebody just, you're walking down the street, pull up beside you, toss you in the van, told you you're in the game, you're illegal, and they're gonna ship you off some foreign prison in some horrible third world country. Yeah, would you be okay with that? I'm pretty sure you want due process to prove you're not in a gang or illegal. And you want that for your family and your closest friends. But when it's just pushed out there by right-wing media in the Trump administration, you just totally suck it up, take it in, as if it's okay. It's like everything else happens. Yeah, everything that Trump and his administration does is A-okay until it happens to you. Like the farmers and poor Venezuelans and, I'm not even going to call it poor anymore, because they asked for it. And the Cubans in South Florida. That was okay as long as you're illegally sticking to other people. Like, it happened to me. It has to happen to you for you to realize it's wrong. You need to look in the mirror. Don't even walk a mile in someone else's footsteps. Just walk a few blocks. Walk a few steps. I shouldn't have to tell you this. I mean, you should want for others what you want for yourself, It should be common sense. You want due process, don't you? And like Cenk said, it's not about being American or not. Everyone is entitled to due process. Because it's only a tiny slippery slope from them to step from someone illegal to you. And also, by the way, asylum is a legal situation. He's not an American citizen, but that's a legal situation. And once again, everyone is entitled to due process. Think about yourself. Think about this happened to you. And don't be fooled and think it can't happen to you. Let's get back into the video.
All right, Vinny, I can see you ready to let rip. Josh, I'll come to you in a moment. But Vinny, I can see you simmering like a volcano there.
Yeah. Well,
Well, first things first, Piers. When it comes to the deportations and how do we get here? How do we get to the point where we have to reverse and send illegal gang members to get the hell out of our country? Is because the Biden administration with Alejandro Mayorkas literally let a freaking invasion of the country happen with zero accountability. Okay, because he got a pre-pardon too. Let's move on to that. You mean to tell me out of the thousands and thousands that Homeland Security with Thomas Homan and Kristi Noem, that we've deported these freaking murderous gangsters, we have one guy that nobody on this panel knows because none of us have the actual inside scoop, is a freaking gang member. And why is he fearing for his life in another place by other gangs? Could it be that he's in a freaking gang? All right, none of us know. Okay, none of us know the thing, but if it's one, and we're asking Piers, why haven't they called and tried to get this guy out? Maybe he was in a gang, okay? Let's think about that. And going to Cenk's point, Cenk, you know I'm with you, brother. America, if you're an American, freedom of speech, First Amendment, you could talk all the shit you want, whenever you want about anything, because I'm a free speech absolutist. But if you are here, Cenk, and you're here on a green card to try to come here and learn, and listen, I'm sorry, Cenk, if you're handing out pro-Hamas shit and you're trying to rally the troops and try to get people angry, and here's my thing, Piers, talk First Amendment all you want. If you're hitting and fucking abusing Jewish students, I'm sorry, Cenk, that shit doesn't fly with me at all.
That's a crime.
At all. Okay?
But Vinny, he didn't do that.
Yeah, that's a crime. So
he didn't do that.
I'm just going to give my 2 cents worth to go a bit here. Vinny's just a ravenous fool. He's one of these typical idiots in the manosphere, listens to everything he hears on right-wing media and just believes it all. All the talking points. With no proof at all. No proof at all this man is in any gang. They just keep spouting it out there and never shows you any proof. And they admit when they're actually in court that they made a mistake. They don't want to do anything about it. That's how despicable they are. And once again, well, if this happens to you, they'll just leave you there. They will just leave you there. Yeah, Vinny's this is a mad, one of these typical, he might as well put one of his red hats on and walk around at one of those Trump gatherings. That's what I'm going to call it. That's pretty much what it is. One of those Trump cult meetings. And he's just a fool, you know. He gets so heated and hot about it, even though he has no idea what he's talking about. It's maddening, you know. And if they have the audacity just to spout this stuff out there, you know, like there's something actually to it. And all you have to do is go and get this man. You know you made a mistake. You know what? I don't think they made a mistake. I think they did it on purpose. And they want it to stick so they can keep doing it on purpose. And who knows how many of these people are in gangs or may actually be legal, because there's a due process. And once again, I ask you, put yourself in that position. Would you want that to happen to you? And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.